I have seen weird things happen, and I can categorically tell you that this is one of the weirdest. I have seen very impossible things happen, and I can tell you as well that I never saw this coming. I have seen people with big balls, and I can tell you that this guy has one of the biggest. Oh no, that was what I was talking about. I was talking about balls big enough to walk into the Supreme Court of Nigeria dressed like this.
Yeah. This is Chief Malcom in the Supreme Court of Nigeria. This is how he appeared in the court, and he had a nice appearance without little hindrance.
You don't understand how big these balls are. See, it's one thing to dress like this and walk on the street. It's another thing to dress like this and go to maybe a magistrate court, a customary court, or probably a federal high court. But it's another thing to dress like this and go to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The Supreme Court is the place where you have judges, the highest ranking judges. See, the head busting part for me is not the fact that he walked into the court. The head busting part is the fact that he walked out of the court without being arrested for contempt of court or something, and all the judges just looked away like it never happened. I mean, we are talking about a country where during law dinner, just law school dinner, somebody had bottled water on his table, and all of a sudden he said, I'm even tasty, let me take a sip of water. And he carried bottled water, he opened it, and he gulped a sip and put it back on the table. Because of that little thing, law school and the authorities summoned the person to a panel and said that it is against the ethics of the profession. It is against what? The ethics for me to drink water from bottle. It is against the ethics, and so I have to pay panel. So how do I begin to defend myself? So you see, I was very tasty and I didn't see the cup. What do you want to say? Like how does drinking water amount to me facing panel? But something as little as that could get something as big as the attention of the school authorities, big enough to tell him to go to panel. But something as big as dressing like that to court did not get the attention of the Supreme Court justices to either, arrest him or something, and he walked out of the place. I mean, if that is not big balls, I don't know what is. And then when I was now thinking, okay, why did he even dress in such a manner? He actually gave reasonable grounds for dressing in such a manner, and that is what we are going to be talking about today. Are those his grounds right or wrong? Are they something that have the backing of the law, or is it something that he has erred in his judgment, in his personal judgment, something that he shouldn't have done, or something like that? We are going to discuss about all that in this video, whether or not dressing like that was a right or wrong thing. But before we proceed into the crux of the matter, sitting before you is Olayeni Dieko Daniels, popularly known as Dieko Spectre, and welcome to another episode of Dieko Talks Law. On today's episode, like you already know, we are talking about Malcom, that's Barrister Malcom, who dressed in such a judicious manner to court and the Supreme Court justices just look the other way. We want to see if dressing in such a manner is the right thing for a lawyer, and the excuses, or let me say the grounds that he gave, are they such that are valid in law. If this is your first time of coming to my channel, please make sure that you click the subscribe button and make sure that you click the notification bell, so that anytime I release a video which is going to be of this nature and going to be of interest to you, you will be one of the first set of people to watch that video. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dieko_Daniels, and also on LinkedIn at Dieko Daniels. Thank you so much as you follow me. So that before we go into the crux of the video, I really need to sound this. Please, if you know that you are so much of a religious person, so to say, please, can you just put your religiousness aside and let us, for the next, I don't know, 10-20 minutes of this video, look at things from a more practicable and pragmatic approach or perspective. I mean, we should look at it from logical reasoning and the law, and carry that your religious kini, put it one side. Because some Muslims came up and started saying, oh, it's an attack on our religion, he doesn't want us. And I'm like, the world does not revolve around you. It's not every time everything is Muslim. Madam, carry yourself and put yourself one side. Let us talk about whether or not this thing is actually right in relation to the law. But before we go into that, let's listen to what Barrister Malcom himself said.
I am Chief Malcom Emejo Omirabo.
So where are you in Supreme Court this morning?
I'm in Supreme Court this morning, like every other lawyer, to appear as an amicus in Korea and to observe proceedings, which I just did, and I had a nice time in the court before my lords. Yes.
What informed this
Nothing informed it. The truth of the matter is this, you know, I'm a traditionalist. And I've been missing all along until the Supreme Court gave the judgment on Friday that people cannot appear in their religious attires of worship in their place of school and public school for that matter. So in the circumstance, I just interpreted everything and said, yes, they have done the right thing by giving us, helping us guaranteeing more our rights under Section 38 of the Constitution that gives us, every Nigerian citizen, the freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. That we are free from that decision that female students can wear hijab because it is a mood of their worship, and any attempt to stop them from wearing it amounts to a violation of their fundamental right. I tried my religious attire of worship, so because it's good, you know, it's good for man to be with God all the time. So this is my mood henceforth, and my children will go to school like this. I will encourage my relations, my friends, so that we can, those in the army, those in the police, those in the Navy, those in doctors, lawyers, they will dress in their mood of this. I'm very grateful to the Supreme Court. I'm very happy about the decision. You know, this thing has been going on for some time. In the case of the provost of Kwara State Polytechnic, Kwara State College of the provost of Kwara State College of Education versus Basirat. The court was very clear that the students should wear their hijab, the female students, and they should not be stopped or prevented, because to do so will amount to a violation of their right to freedom of religion, dignity to their person, and also discrimination. Just Friday here, the Supreme Court also gave a decision like that. So you see, the foundation for this is well spelled out. There are other cases. You have Abdul Karim versus Lagos State, where the court held similar decision. So if that can be done to female students to wear hijab, you can apply it to every other religion. Because to stop me from dressing like this will amount to a violation of my right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, and also it will be a violation of. I mean, it will be discriminatory, and therefore unconstitutional. And that's why I felt confident of coming to the Supreme Court, and I came. I went there and I sat before my lords, and they were pleased with my appearance until they have to reconstitute. So that's just it. There's no big issue about it. It's all about freedom of worship.
Funny thing is, I actually like the man. Like, I like his balls, actually. Like, sorry, that sounded wrong. I like his temerity. I like his audacity. Like, you know, dressed in such a manner. Entering the Supreme Court. Hey, wallah. This is fantabulous. This is the classic case of fantabulous. However, he raised certain issues which, you know, are very interesting. You know, he said that he acted in such a manner because of the judgment of the same Supreme Court. You know, in that Lagos State case, you know, what happened is that Lagos State banned the use of hijab in public schools. Do you understand? So there was a particular Muslim whose daughter usually wears hijab to school, and then the Muslim sued Lagos State in 2014, 2013 thereabout. The judgment was delivered in 2014, and the judgment was that yes, Lagos State can ban, you know, the use of hijab in public schools. And then the Muslim father appealed. The Court of Appeal said no. The Lagos State government cannot ban it. That every child should have the right to wear hijab even to public schools. Note that what Lagos State is saying is, if you know you want to wear hijab and propagate your religion, so to say, you have no problem with that. You can't just do it in a public environment, a facility owned by a public school. You can do it in a private setting, maybe in a private school. If you like, go to Ansaruddin or all those, you know, private schools that exist. Same thing, you know, for Christians too. Don't come to public school and come and start displaying your kini. Go to private school, all those missionary school, display your in Jesus name. That is your business. Do you understand? But then the Court of Appeal said no, Lagos State doesn't have the right to ban the use of hijab because it has been fundamentally guaranteed by Section 38 of the Constitution. And the Lagos State government said no, Court of Appeal, I don't like this kind of judgment, I'm appealing again. And then they appealed again to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court just gave its judgment 2 weeks ago thereabout, where it upheld the decision of the Court of Appeal and said yes, Lagos State doesn't have the right to ban the use of hijab in secondary school. And this is where Barrister Malcom then said yes, fantabulous. So what is the reason for the Supreme Court saying this? That is what Barrister Malcom said. And now this is where I'm going to usher you into a class. It's called Constitutional Law Class by Professor Dieko Daniels. First of all, you are supposed to be happy that you are sitting in my Constitutional Law class, because we are about to peruse through 4 important provisions for you to understand whether or not what Malcom has done is a right thing or a wrong thing, is something that, you know, has a weighty argument in law or in court, or something that is just bleh. Do you understand? Just there. You need to understand 4 provisions. The first provision is Section 38 of the Constitution. Second provision, Section 10 of the Constitution. Third provision, Section 45 of the Constitution. And also, the last provision is Rule 36A and B of the Rules of Professional Conduct in relation to lawyers. So if you can understand these 4 provisions, then you would understand if Malcom, that is Barrister Malcom, is actually right or wrong. So yes, going into our constitutional law class, the first provision we are going to start from, Section 38. What does it say? Section 38 tells us that every person shall be entitled to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, including freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom either alone or in community with others, and in public or in private, to manifest. Can you see that? To manifest and propagate his religion or belief in worship, teaching, practice and observance. Now, you see the important provision there is that everybody has a right to religion, Abi, and has a right to believe whatever he wants to believe. And also, we all have that right to propagate, that is to show, that is also to manifest, to propagate, to show our religion or our belief in our teaching, practice and observance. That's what section 38 is. You need to understand that. Very sacrosanct. To put it on one hand, very, very important, quintessential to put it on one hand. Now, when you are talking about section 38, you should know that section 38 is a derogable right. But before we go to the derogable right, let us go to what the argument of Barrister Malcom is. He is saying that yes, he acknowledges that section 38 is important, but another provision of the Constitution that is also very important is section 10. What does section 10 say? Section 10 says that the government of the federation or of a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. Can you see that now? So what he's saying is that as a public school, we are not supposed to accommodate any form of religious practices. Should get, because the moment we seem to do that, it means that the government might lean towards a particular religion to the detriment of others. Do you understand? But the thing is, number one, section 10 was not canvassed before the Supreme Court. They did not argue it. Lagos State did not argue section 10. That is number one. Number two, the Supreme Court did not look at it from the public perspective, that is, the government and all that. It looked at it from the private person perspective. Can we say, let us listen to this, can we say that wearing hijab according to section 8 will restrict a person's ability to manifest his own religion in terms of teachings, practice and observance? Do you understand? And then the Supreme Court said yes, because according to Islam or the Quran, wearing hijab is as important as an act of worship of their God. So why would you want to restrict them from worshiping their God? That is what the Supreme Court is saying. And then the Supreme Court said no, you cannot ban it. Then Barrister Malcom said, hey, fantabulous. Supreme Court, you do this one, oh yeah, now no problem. That is when he then said, okay, I too I'm going to go and carry my own attire, and I want to see how the Supreme Court will not restrict me. Shebi, the Supreme Court did not restrict the pupils. Abi, if they cannot restrict other people from manifesting their own religion through their practice, you shouldn't be able to restrict me from manifesting my own religion through my practice. Do you understand that? But you see, where I have a problem with what Barrister Malcom has done is a very beautiful and smart move, satirical in nature, for you to understand. He's trying to show the loopholes in the Supreme Court judgment without the use of words but the use of action. Very classic satire. Do you understand? Trying to show that, Shebi, you do this one, okay, now watch what's going to play out. Now in this case, what he might not have paid so much attention to is the provision of section 45. I told you that there are 4 provisions that we have to look at: section 38, section 10, and now section 45. What does section 45 say? I need you to pay attention to that to see the loopholes in the satirical work of Barrister Malcom himself. So what are those loopholes? Now, section 45 says nothing in section 37, section 38. Do not forget that section 38 is right to freedom of religion, right? So now when you're talking about section 38, section 39, section 40 and section 41 of the Constitution, nothing in the Constitution shall invalidate any law that is reasonably justifiable in a democratic society if that law is made in the interest of what? In the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, or public health. And B, for the purpose of protecting the rights and freedoms of other person. Now, I want you to understand one thing. That's why I said you are sitting there in Professor Dieko last class. Constitutional law, come feel powerful. So yeah, it's not a very easy thing. Oh yes, so there's something I need you to understand in section 45. It's telling us that nothing in the Constitution will invalidate any law. Any law, which means that whatever can take away the provisions of section 38 can make it useless, cannot be a policy by the state government. It has to be a law made by the legislature. She gets, I think, law a little bit deep. If you want to take away the provisions of Section 38, you cannot take it away by a policy of the state government. Because what the state government, Lagos State, did was to issue a policy that banned students in school. There is no law itself that says that, a girl cannot wear hijab to school. She gets. And that's what Section 45. That's why it's called derogable section. Section dero. Do you understand that? Derogable section. The derogable section, takes away a little bit the rights that has been given to you. It derogates it, but it gives grounds for such derogation. The first ground is for you to be able to derogate, take away my right. It has to be that a law must have been passed by the, assembly. That's the law legislature, either National Assembly or State Assembly. But that's not the only thing. That law must have been passed in such a way that we are supposed to have what? Public interest, public order, public morality. Those are the grounds by which you can take my right. The first thing is that there must have been a law. And the second thing is that law must have been made because of public interest, public morality, public safety, public order, in the interest of defense. All those kind of things. So it's not just any law that can take my right. That law must have been made in pursuance of that. So now let us come back home to Barrister Malcom's case. Now, in the case of the students, don't forget that I told you that there is no law that says that, okay, students cannot, wear hijab. It is only a policy. And the constitution did not say a policy. The constitution said law. Right? But in the case of Barrister Malcom, the legal profession has its law that restricts how you dress. And that is where we now get to Section 36 of the RPC. Now let us go to Section 36. Sacrosanct, peruse through the provisions of Section 36. Kini Section 36. What is it saying? Now, it's called Rule 36 of the RPC, actually. So, Rule 36 of the Rules of Professional Conduct says that when a lawyer is in a courtroom, that is, when in a courtroom, a lawyer shall be attired in such a proper and dignified manner, and shall not wear any apparel or ornament, this is the important part, calculated to attract attention to himself. Now, let's hold that on one hand and go to the second. B. Conduct himself with decency. A lawyer shall conduct himself with decency and decorum, and observe the custom, conduct, and code of behavior of the court and custom of practice at the bar, with respect to appearance, dress, manners, and courtesy. Now, can you see where I'm having a problem with Barrister Malcom? In the case of the student, there's no law like this that says that only dress by or only dress by. That means you cannot dress like this or you can dress like this. But in the case of the legal profession, there is a law that says that you should not wear any apparel or ornament or stuff like that that is going to attract attention to yourself. And you will all agree with me that dress not only attracted the attention inside the court, they attracted the attention of the whole Nigeria. So will you say that his act has not contravened, directly or indirectly, the provision of Rule 36 of the RPC, Rules of Professional Conduct? Of course, a reasonable person will say that it has. However, I also want us to look at this thing from another dynamics. Now, do not forget that certain Muslims, that's female Muslims, actually wear hijab under the robe and wig. Yes. There was this time that this girl was supposed to be called to bar. On the day of her call to bar, she wore hijab under her wig. And, it is against the RPC for you to do that. That is the Rules of Professional Conduct and all that. For you to do that. And then, my own problem with her was, you went to university for 5 years. You went to law school for 1 year. In all these 6 years, you know the rules. And then, you didn't speak out, you didn't speak up. It was on that day of call to bar that you now want to act like you are the victim. They have infringing my right to religion and all that. And and I'm like, don't do this. No, you're wrong, man. Don't do this. So but then she wasn't called to bar on that day, but subsequently she was called to bar, and she wore that hijab while she was called to bar. So yeah, now there are other lawyers at the bar as well who, when they are appearing in court, they actually wear the hijab under their wig, even when the RPC says don't. Do you understand? You are supposed to dress in such a way. I think here is supposed to show there is a kind of hair that you can wear. You are not supposed to wear anything under your wig. And you know all those kind of rules, technical rules. You know, we are all waiving all those rules because, I mean, they are Muslims, their religion. But now, when it comes to the case of Barrister Malcom and he wanting to also show his religion, everybody is having a problem with it. She'll get. Everybody is having the problem with it. How will you dress like that to court? How will you kinikon to court? And I'm like, but why didn't we have the same energy when, you know, that girl dressed in that manner, or, you know, where other lawyers dressing? Because we have made it so kini that we don't even look at that direction again, because anybody to fair wala, nobody wants problem. So they dress or they no dress, so you know, concern me. But I think that the only point where I have another problem with Barrister Malcom is that he should have made the color black. Because let us be fair, when those girls are wearing hijab, they do not wear red hijab. You like Barrister Malcom wore that egugu Juju cloth. You see, do you understand what I'm saying? Let us be fair. You know, I like being reasonable and fair. I feel that because the legal profession is white and black, you should have worn a black apparel. That's, you know, that one, that red one that I tied. At least, even if you are going to tie a black apparel. And this thing that you put on your neck, kindly make it black as well. Do you understand? But still, he can still argue against me that his own religion says that they should not be wearing that color. This thing cannot be black. He has to be red. And if it is so, do not forget that the Supreme Court, when delivering its judgment, said that the hijab is part of the worship of, you know, the Muslim, you know, religion. What if this one too is part of the worship of his own religion, to be dressing like that 247? Does that automatically bar him from being a lawyer or from appearing in court? No, because the Constitution, according to the Supreme Court case, that's the judgment, has already given him the right to propagate his religion in terms of teaching, in terms of practice, and in terms of observance. He has given him the right. So when the Constitution, which is the font et origo, which is the uncommanded commander of all other laws, which is the grand norm, do you understand? When the Constitution gives you a right, the RPC can't take that right. That's what Malcom is saying. That should be the Supreme Court has upheld that under the Constitution. Then the RPC, the rule of professional conduct, cannot take away the right, because the Constitution is supreme. Section 1, subsection 3. That section says that if any law is inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution, that law shall be void to the extent of its inconsistency. Void means that it shall not be applicable. So where there seems to be a law to restrict someone's right to freedom of religion, that law will not be valid. And that is the argument of Barrister Malcom. Can you see that? So everybody, in this case, everyone can only have an opinion, because the Supreme Court, if you look at the Supreme Court judgment and you interpret it in context, you will know that Barrister Malcom has not done anything wrong, which is the reason the Supreme Court knew itself. They couldn't arrest him. You get the balls, enter court dressed in that manner. Not only were you able to dress in, you were able to dress out, and Supreme Court could not do anything. Can you see that even the Supreme Court knew that he was arguing a right argument? My own observance is that it should have just been black. The dress should have been black and not red. Do you understand that? So whether it's right or wrong depends on your opinion, and that is what I want to know. What can you feel? What do you think? Do you think that, you know, it is right or it is wrong? Which kind of interpretation would you love to give the Constitution? I personally want to know, and I'll be scrolling through the comment section. I really want to know your opinion. I'll be scrolling through the comment section, and also make sure that you help me share this video with your friends, your family, so that a lot of people will be abreast when it comes to things like this. Thank you so much for watching another episode of my show. Do not forget to put your opinion in the comment section. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.